بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We continue our discussion about bara'ah. As you remember, we said first we discuss الشبهة الحكمية التحريمية عند فقدان النص. When there is no text to prove that something is haram or not. But there is a chance, there is a likelihood that it might be haram. And the question is not about a case, it's about hukm, general hukm. Ash-shubhatul hukmiyya. So as I said Monday, this applies to mujtahid, not to muqallid. Because muqallid doesn't have shubha hukmiyya. Muqallid asks mujtahid. It's mujtahid who has shubha. Okay? So, الشبهة الحكمية التحريمية لأجل فقدان الناس. There is no text here. What should we do? We said, most of our ulama say here that you can apply the principle of exemption, bara'ah. And we mentioned their arguments. Then we said, akhbariyun disagree. They say, in such cases, we should do ihtiyat. We should assume that it might be haram, therefore we have to avoid. We mentioned their argument from Quran. Then we mentioned their argument from Hadith, which had different parts. The first part and second part we discussed. Now we reached al-Thalitha. So the third group of hadith that they are using to justify ihtiyat. Is it clear? So you know what is the question. Ash-shubhatu tahrimiyya al-hukmiyya and the fiqdan al-nas. And we are reviewing the arguments that akhbariyin have mentioned to support ihtiyat. So the third group of the hadith that they have argued from are the hadiths that say when you have shubha, when there is a case which is not clear, there is doubt, you should stop. هناك روايات, page 210. الثالثة لزوم الوقوف عند الشبهة, necessity of stopping when there is shubha. هناك روايات تدل على لزوم الوقوف عند الشبهة. There are hadiths that indicate necessity of wuquf. Wuquf means to stop. Like wuquf in Arafat. Means you stop there. Yeah? You don't go outside. You can be inside Arafat, but don't go outside. Wuquf.
Here, wuquf means no taklif, right?
Pardon?
Here, wuquf, does it mean no taklif?
No, then it means that you have to do ihtiyat.
So you have to do taklif.
Ihtiyat. Yeah. So, wuquf sometimes has other meanings. For example, sometimes wuquf means to know something. Wuquf. But here means to stop. لزوم الوقوف عند الشبهة. You know shubha. Shubha means like a paradox, means something that you have doubt about it. A case which is dubious. وَأَنَّهُ. These riwayat indicate that أَنَّهُ means أَنَّ الْوُقُوفِ عند الشبهات خَيْرٌ مِنَ الْإِقْتِحَامِ فِي الْحَلَكَةِ. It's better than getting into halaka. Halaka means destruction. So, iqtiham means to go into something, to pass by or go through something. اقتحام. فَلَقْتَحَمَ الْعَقَبَةِ. In the Quran, we have it. فَلَقْتَحَمَ الْعَقَبَةِ. So, is it better that you take the risk and destroy yourself, or it's better to stop? To stop. الوقوف عند الشبهات خير من الاقتحام في الهلكة. Now, they mention some of these hadiths here. Of course, Ayatollah Subhani is on their behalf mentioning. One, روى داوود بن فرقد عن أبي شيبة عن أحدهما عليهما السلام. Either from Imam Baqir or from Imam Sadiq, we don't know which one. It's not mentioned here, but it's one of the two. قال الوقوف عند الشبهة خير من الاقتحام في الهلكة. To stop when there is doubt, it's better than going through destruction, means to destroy yourself. Hadith 2. روى مسعدة بن زياد عن جعفر عليه السلام عن آبائه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أنه قال لا تجامعوا في النكاح على الشبهة وقفوا عند الشبهة فإن الوقوف عند الشبهة خير من الاقتحام في الهلكة. The beginning of the hadith is about marrying while there is doubt. For example, is this marriage proper or not? But at the end there is a general rule. Although the beginning is about marriage, but then there is a general rule. إن الوقوف عند الشبهة, as a general rule, to support why in this case we should do احتياط, says إن الوقوف عند الشبهة خير من الاقتحام في الهلكة. Okay, the same thing. Hadith number 3. روى في الذكرى or روي في الذكرى, means روى شهيد الأول في الذكرى or روي في الذكرى. قال, ذكرى is the name of the book. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم دع ما يريبك إلى ما لا يريبك. When there is something that puts you in doubt, يريبك from raib, means something that puts you in doubt. If there is something that puts you in doubt, then you have to leave it and go for something that would not put you in doubt. So here you have shubha, whether something is haram or not. Akhbariyun want to use this hadith and say it means that, okay, avoid it. Because if you avoid it, you are on the safe side. You have no doubt that it's okay. But now, Ayatollah Subhani has objection. He wants to say these hadiths would not be strong enough to support أخباريون. يلاحظ على الاستدلال بهذه الطائفة من الأحاديث. There is a reservation, there is an objection about arguing from these hadiths. His objections are, his objection is twofold, so he has like two objections. One is that these hadiths seem to, at least some of them, refer to ash-shubhatul mahsura. Do you remember we had discussion al-Ijmali, ash-shubhatul mahsura? For example, you have few things. Say we have 4 cups of water, and we know one of them is najis. Okay, we have to avoid najis, but you don't know which one. Ulama say if the parties are few, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you have to avoid all of them. But if for example, in whole London there is 1 cup of water which is najis. This is ghayrul mahsura. Okay, here there is no need to do ihtiyat. So Ayatollah Subhani says some of these hadiths which emphasize on Ihtiyat are about the cases that you know there is haram involved. You don't know which one. You have to do ihtiyat. So, أنها إما راجعة إلى الشبهة المحصورة. أنها. What does this how refer to? Ahadith. These ahadith either refer to shubha mahsura التي يعلم بوجود الحرمة فيها. We know that there is prohibition there. You don't know which one exactly, but you know that there is haram. ويجب فيها الاحتياط إجماعا. No one disagrees that when there is shubhatul mahsura, you have to avoid all of them when there is hurma. Why we say they refer to shubha mahsura? وَذَلِكَ بِقَرِينَةِ الْحَلَكَةِ. Because it says there is destruction. So it means that there is a haram and that destroys us. Salaam alaikum. We don't know which one. So it's better to avoid all of them so that you don't get into the haram which destroys. Or maybe, or it's not about shubha mahsura. It's about a shubhatul badwiya, means you don't know if there is any haram or taklif. But it is about what? It's about mawzu. When there is a mistaq, there is a mawzu, there is an instance, not hukm. And here, all ulama have said, even akhbariyun, that when it comes to masadiq, you don't need to do ihtiyat. And this is mustahab to do ihtiyat. Akhbariyun in shubahat al-mawzu'iyyah, they don't believe in ihtiyat. In shubahat al-hukmiyyah, they believe. أو راجعة إلى الشبهة البدوية or بدوية الموضوعية. بدوية is better because Badawi is for Bedouins. التي لم يقل أحد بالاحتياط فيها. Or it is about those shubahat which are about instances, about cases, individual cases, and no one has said that we must do ihtiyat, even akhbariyun. For example, the second hadith, he says, الوقوف عند الشبهة خير من الاقتحام في الهلكة seems to be for case. Or nikah, لا تجامع النكاح, it seems to be for case. Or the third option is that these hadiths refer to a kind of recommendation. It's better to do ihtiyat. It's better to stop. محمولة على الاستحباب. For example, this Rasulullah said, دع ما يريبك إلى ما لا يريبك. No one could say that it's always necessary to avoid something that brings doubt and go to something that... There are many cases that ulama have said ihtiyat is not necessary. For example, in shubahat wujubiyya, there is no necessity of ihtiyat. Or shubahat tahrimiyya mistaqiyya, there is no necessity of ihtiyat. Even akhbariyun accept that. The fourth group of hadiths are the hadiths that akhbariyun have referred to, which gives you a threefold account of the cases. Yes.
For the third time, can you give us a few examples about, for example, shubha al-badwiyya al-mawdu'iyya, these types of shubhat that everyone agrees we don't have to do?
All of them come later.
Okay.
Tahrimiyya, mistaqiyya, or mawdu'iyya, wujubiyya, they all come later, and we will see that there is ijma'. Hadith tathlis. Tathlis means threefold. Like Trinity, threefold, okay? There are three parties. For example, we have in Maghbulay Umar ibn Hanzaleh, the famous hadith. We had it before also in previous books. إنما الأمور ثلاثة. Everything that comes to fiqh everything that relates to our actions, and you need to know what should you do, comes under one of the three categories. Amrun bayyinun rushduh. Sometimes you know that this is good. Bayyinun rushduh means rushduhu bayyin. Something that its goodness is clear. Yeah? So there are things that are very clear to be good. Fayyuttaba. Then you follow it, you do it. Amrun bayyinun ghayyuh. Fayyujtanab. Then there are things that you know they are bad and you avoid them. So with respect to these two things, we don't have problem. When we know something is really clearly good or really clearly bad, no problem. Okay? But all the problem is when it's something which is ambiguous. You think it might be good, it might be bad. Wa amrun mushkilun. Mushkil means what? Problematic. It's not clear. What should we do? Yuraddu ilmuhu ila Allah wa rasulih. We should refer it, the knowledge about it, to the Prophet and to Allah and the Prophet. Yeah? We say, we don't know. You cannot say it is okay, and you cannot say it is not okay. You have to just suspend judgment and leave it to Allah and Prophet. Another hadith, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. There are differences, but again the three categories. Halalun bayyin, clear halal. Haramun bayyin, clear haram. Shubahatun bayna dhalik. There's a gray area. There is white, there is black, and there is gray. Okay? فَمَنْ تَرَكَ الشُّبَهَاتِ نَجَى مِنَ الْمُحَرَّمَاتِ. Whoever avoids problematic cases, he would be saved from haram. وَمَنْ أَخَذَ بِالشُّبَهَاتِ. But if you take these problematic cases, ارتكب المحرمات وحلك من حيث لا يعلم. Unknowingly, he would commit haram and would be destroyed if you are not cautious. Means without knowing. So from where you don't know, you will be destroyed. Yeah? Okay. So the second hadith is also, you see there are three categories. ثم قال في آخر الحديث رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, in the end of this hadith says فإن الوقوف عند الشبهات خير من الاقتحام في الحلقات, like we had in the previous argument. So how do أخباريون argue from this hadith? وجه الاستدلال, yeah, the way أخباريون argue. إن مورد التثليث الوارد في كلام الإمام أبي عبد الله عليه السلام هو الشبهات الحكمية. Okay, in the first مقبولة عمر بن حنظلة, أمر بين رشده فيتبع أمر بين غيره, because the question of Umar ibn Hanzaleh was about the disagreement between hadith and, or people who are asked to arbitrate and they refer to different hadiths. You remember Maqbuli Umar ibn Hanzaleh? The person asked, if there are two people who have problem, what should they do? And we had this in the issue of Ta'adul Taraji, the previous book. Yes. It comes also again later. So, إن مورد التثليث الوارد في كلام الإمام الصادق إمام أبي عبد الله عليه السلام هو الشبهات الحكمية وحاصل التثليث أنما يبتلى به المكلف what the person who is responsible would face يبتلى means he would face is either بين رشده it's clear فيتبع or بين غيه it's clear to be bad فيجتنب. You know, rushd and غي are opposite. قد تبين الرشد من الغي. وأما الأمر المشكل, but if it is problematic, okay, فلا يفتي بما لا يعلم حتى يرجع حكمه إلى الله. أخباريون want this part. The whole question is here. When it's problematic, you should not give fatwa. Okay? And you have to leave it or refer it to what? To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they want to say we cannot apply bara'a. Al-jawab. The answer to this is أن التثليث في كلام الإمام ينسجم مع الطائفة الأولى. We say what we have in this hadith is compatible or similar to what we had in the first group of hadith, that it is haram to give fatwa without knowledge. And you remember we said it is true that giving fatwa without knowledge is haram, but here we don't want to give fatwa without knowledge. We just say because we don't have reason to say this is haram, practically you can do it. But we don't know about hukm waqi'i. Okay? It's hukm zahiri.
Is this also a fatwa?
Pardon?
Is this also a fatwa or is this the opinion of Muslim?
Yeah, it's fatwa, but then this is not without ilm. What you don't know is hukm waqi'i, but hukm zahiri you know because you have all the arguments for bara'ah. Amma taslis fi kalam al-Rasul, but the second hadith, which was from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that one, it's about الشبهات الموضوعية. It's not about حكمية, it's about موضوعية. Okay? In the الشبهات الموضوعية, even أخباريون don't say you have to do احتياط. So it becomes مستحب to do احتياط. أما التثليث في كلام الرسول فموردها الشبهات الموضوعية. Okay? In Shubahat al-Mudhuya, no one says you have to do ihtiyat unless if it is al-Shubhatul Mawdu'iyatu al-Mahsura. Unless you know that there is a taklif like hurma and there are different parties, but the parties are not that many. In that case, you have to do ihtiyat. Like, as I said, 3, 4, 5 cups of water, one of them is najis. Here, everyone says you have to do ihtiyat. And if there is no shubha mahsura, shubha badwiya, no one, even akhbariyun, they don't say you have to do ihtiyat. So, in shubahat mawdu'iyyah, if it is mahsura, ihtiyat is not necessary. If it is badwiya, ihtiyat is good, but not necessary. Mahsura means you know that there is an obligation, like hurma, prohibition, but you don't know which one. You cannot be very decisive and say, this is haram, this is najas. You know something is haram, but it is mixed. You know, one of these, for example, butchers doesn't sell halal meat, but you don't know which one. If it is something between 2, 3, 4, 5, you have to avoid all of them. But if it is in a very big, city, and one butcher doesn't sell halal and he says it is halal, but it's not halal. The number of the parties are so many that you don't need to do ihtiyat. If it's a big city,
موضوعية.
Yeah. فموردها الشبهات الموضوعية. But what type of شبهات الموضوعية؟ التي يقطع بوجود الحرام فيها. When we know there is قطع, there is certainty that haram is among them. وهي تنطبق على الشبهة المحصورة. This means that it is شبهة محصورة. حيث أن ظاهر الحديث أن هناك حلالا بينا وحراما بينا وشبهات بين ذلك. There are three types: something which is clearly good, clearly haram, and those things which are dubious, problematic. على وجه لو ترك الشبهات نجا من المحرم. We know that if he avoids these problematic cases, he would be saved from haram. ولو أخذ بها, and if he takes ارتكب المحرمات. So there is haram. You know that there is haram, but you don't know which one is haram. If you do all of them, you will be doing haram. وَحَلَكَ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَعْلَمُ. He's destroyed where he doesn't know which one is haram. That there is a danger here, but you don't know which one. If you take them, one of them is haram, so you will be hitting haram. Yes.
So if you had 5 cups of water,
yes,
and you know one of them there's poison in there, so you avoid all of them.
Yes.
But if there's 1,000,
yeah,
it's okay.
Yes. Ulama say we cannot define how many. It's something dependent on urf, on common sense. It seems that common sense idea is that 1 in 1,000 they ignore. Yeah?
There's too much. It's not practical.
Yeah, it seems. But we cannot really fix, say for example, if it is 999, you have to do ihtiyat. Again here, there is gray area that you don't know. What is important is the number should be that many that common sense would not take the probability seriously, ignores the probability. Yeah? Maybe one case also be like this. For example, if you know that for example, one day you are going to have accident, but you don't know which day. If it is, for example, you say either today or tomorrow you are going to have accident, you can sit home. If they say either today or tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, again, you can sit home. But if someone says in the next 3 years, you are going to have one accident, what do you do? So, you don't bother, or you try to have the accident the first day and then... or 3... I'm joking. Yeah. So if it is 3 years, I don't think anyone would, stop his life because he knows that in 3 years he's going to have accident. Unless there is something very, very serious. For example, they say, in the next 3 years you are going to have an accident and you will be, for example, killing few people. Then maybe you decide for all your life you don't drive. Yeah? But if it is just a normal accident, or common sense people say, we cannot stop our life because we know something is going to happen. So, we cannot fix the number, but we can say something that for ordinary rational people would be too little to consider as a probability. So, what the second hadith, which was from Rasulullah, seems to be telling us is that when there is shubha mahsura, a problematic case whose whose parties are few, very few, then you have to do ihtiyat. وَإِنْ شِئْتَ قُلْتَ, if you want, you can say in this way: إن الرواية ظاهرة فيما إذا كانت الحلقة محرزة. You know that there is destruction. You know that there is haram. Okay? Regardless of the hadith. Even before hadith, you know that you have such case. وكان اجتناب الشبهة أو اقترافها ملازما لاجتناب المحرمات واقترافها. And to avoid that problem, completely do ihtiyat, or to go through it would lead to avoiding haram or doing haram. So either you have to avoid it to be saved from haram, or you do it and you will definitely get into haram. So it means a case that you know that one haram is here, definitely. حتى يصح أن يقال فمن ترك الشبهات نجا من المحرمات ومن أخذ بالشبهات ارتكب المحرمات وما هذا شأنه لا ينطبق إلا على الشبهة المحصورة. When you know that there is haram, so this is شبهة محصورة. لا الشبهة البدوية التي لا علم فيها أصلا بالمحرمات. Not an initial problematic case that we don't know whether there was haram or there was no haram. And Ayatollah Subhani says, if you really investigate thoroughly all the hadith in this issue, about this issue in this section, you will find that most of the hadith either do not relate to the bara'ah, when we want to do shubhi, hukmi, tahrimiyya, we want to do bara'ah, or even if they relate to bara'ah, and they say that in the case of bara'ah, in shubhat al-mawzu'iyah tahrimiyah, you must not do bara'ah and you should do ihtiyat, we understand that it is not necessary, it's not obligatory, it's recommended. So either they have nothing to do with our issue. What is our issue? The thing that we are dealing with is shubhatul hukmiyah to tahrimiyah. Either those hadiths have nothing to do with this, or if they are about this, they are not indicating any obligation. They just recommend to do ihtiyat. The fourth argument that we had before for usuliyun was aql. Again here, akhbariyun also try to argue based on aql. But what is their rational argument? Al-ilm al-ijmali. They say, we know that there are some harams. And because you don't know which one is haram, you have to avoid all of them. Every case that you are in doubt, you have to avoid. Because this is shubhiyya mahsura. But our answer is, first of all, these problems are not very little. There are many, many questions that we don't know. Secondly, who said this is shubhiyya mahsura? You know, ulama have a rule. If you listen to me carefully 2-3 minutes, we said if there is shubhiyya ghayra mahsura, we don't care. Yeah? If it is mahsura, we care. But ulama say there is something even in shubahat mahsura that may come and help. Please listen very carefully. Suppose we have 10 cups of water. and we know one of them is najis, we have to avoid all of them. Okay? Because it still is mahsura. But I put these 10 cups of water here, and we have evidence that the one which is one of these 10 and is najis is actually in the right side. So although one of these 10 is najis, but we have another evidence that says that one of the 5 which is on the right side. So then ulama say that ilm ijmali is now divided. These 5 become safe. So if someone says maybe there are 2 najis, you know one of them is here, but maybe there is we say what we knew was that there is 1 najis at least. We didn't know that there are 2. So if there is 1 in 10 and maybe 2 also, we assume 1 because the second is not known. And if we know that this 1 is either in 10 or in these 5, this second bit of information helps us because then we can release the other 5. Is it clear? It's something very rational. You know, for example, if police arrest 10 people and knows one of them is murderer, he keeps all of them under arrest till they investigate. They don't release any of them. But if initially they take 10 and then they know these 5 are not murderers, so they release these 5 and keep those 5. Yeah? It's very rational. So, let's see what Akhbariyun say and then what is our answer. Al-istidlalu bil-aql na'lamu ijmalan. Akhbariyun say we know as ilm ijmali. Means we know without being able to point at something, specifically, but in general. I actually don't know what is the best thing to say in English for ilm ijmali.
Probably.
No, it's not probable. Ilm ijmali means something is, for example, haram, but among different things. You can say, for example, partial knowledge, but partial knowledge is too general. When you know something, but not in a decisive way, it's, pardon?
It's general and not specific.
Unspecific knowledge.
Yeah, but when you say general knowledge, it can include many things. Pardon?
Indecisive.
Again, indecisive can mean anything that you are not sure. But here means you have one certainty, and that there is one of them which is najis, but you don't know which one. Okay? If you find a good term in English,
Self-first knowledge.
Maybe
No.
unspecified. So, there's one, but it's not specific.
Yeah.
So it's
unspecified again is general. Unspecified, for example, I know something is recommended, I don't know it's wajib or mustahab. You can say it's unspecified. This is maybe in law they have something, because very technical. This is a very technical term. So in Arabic we say al-ilm al-ijmali. Okay?
Indiscriminate?
No. Yes. It's very difficult, I think, to find one term. You have to, I think, define it by a sentence. Pardon?
You continue with ijmali.
Yes.
So this certainty, we have certainty that one of them is najis. Where is this evidence coming from? Like for us to sort of have this kind of...
It can be for different reasons. For example, there was a cup which was najis and you wanted to wash it after you go home. Your children didn't know and mixed it up.
Okay, so therefore your previous knowledge, it
Yes.
still holds valid.
Yes.
In this new circumstance, there's that validity from something.
Yeah. Or for example, your hand was wet and some drops of water dropped on the carpet, and then you realize it was najis. You don't know which part of carpet. Is it this part or this part? Yeah? So there is something. You cannot doubt about that there was something, but you don't know which.
You can't pinpoint.
Yes.
Exactly. Where
Yes.
exactly that.
Yes. So if you find a good term, then you can share, inshallah, with us. So, نعلم إجمالا. Akhbariyun argue in this way. We know إجمالا means there is some haram. نعلم إجمالا قبل مراجعة الأدلة. Even before investigating hadith and verses of the Quran, we know that there are some haram things. موجودة محرمات كثيرة في الشريعة. Okay, is there anyone in doubt that we have some muharramat? No. We know that we have some muharramat. And we must avoid them because Quran says وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا مَا أَتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. Whatever Rasul gives you, take it. Whatever he prohibits you, refrain. So, they say, we know that there are some haram. After investigating the sources that we have, نقف على وجود محرمات في الشريعة. We find some actions are prohibited very clearly in the Quran and Sunnah. For example, you know that there are some haram. After investigation, you found 100 haram. But you still think that there might be more than 100. لكن نحتمل وجود محرمات أخرى بينها الشارع ولم تصل إلينا. And Shari has explained them, because if he had not explained it, then قبح العقاب بلا بيان stops احتياط. But suppose Shari has mentioned, but they have not reached us. أخباريون say مقتضى منجزية العلم الإجمالي or منجزية العلم الإجمالي, the outcome of tangiz means to make it effective. Yeah. So ilm ijmali makes that haram in effect. Yeah. Munjaziyat means you brings responsibility, brings taklif. If you don't know wajib, there is no taklif. If you don't know haram, there is no taklif. But when you know either specifically or you know through ilm ijmali that there is a taklif, then it brings responsibility. هو الاجتناب عن كل ما نحتمل حرمته. Anything that we think it might be haram, we have to avoid if there is no reason for its permissibility. Why we have to avoid anything that might be haram? So that we can be 100% sure that we have not committed haram. Yeah? So if you want to be 100% clear that you have not done haram, you have to avoid harams which are obvious. You have also to avoid haram which might be not very clear, but it's known through al-Ijmali. This is argument of Akhbariyun. Is it clear? So they say, you have al-Ijmali because you know there are harams. You have identified some of them, but still there might be more haram. So that al-Ijmali still asks you to do ihtiyat. Is it clear?
So there's a lot of ihtiyat in that.
Yes.
Because
Yes. Is it clear? If I want to give an example, for example, we have, say, 300 cups of water. We know 100 of them are najis. But maybe there are more najis. So when there are 300 cups and we know there are cups which are najis and 100 are identified. Those 100 which are identified, okay, we leave them aside. Those cups that we are identified that they are not najis, also we leave them aside. But those which remain in between, we have to avoid. Because you knew that there are haram and you are not sure that it's 100 or more. Certainly it's not less than 100. It's either 100 or more, so you have to do ihtiyat. Our answer is no. You knew that they were haram. You have identified 100. Maybe there was no more than 100. So why we should do ihtiyat? Do you understand?
Just like in real terms, what is the problem in doing ihtiyat? There could be more than 100, who knows?
Ihtiyat is mustahab, but can you make it necessary for people? Make life of people difficult? Anything that you have doubt, you say it's haram?
It's a difficult life. Why did you
Yes, it's very difficult. يلاحظ عليه. There is an objection on this argument. أن العلم الإجمالي إنما ينجز إذا بقي على حاله. العلم الإجمالي will activate or will bring hurma into effect if it remains as it is. أما إذا انحل, but if it is divided, it's analyzed into علم تفصيلي وشك بدوي. Those 10 cups, you knew 5 of them, one of them is najis. Now it's divided into 5 that one of them is najis and 5 that we don't know. So this is called inhilalul ilm al-ijmali. Means that unspecified knowledge is analyzed, is made into 2 pieces. So in this case, ilm al-ijmali la yakunu munajjizan. Ilm al-ijmali is not munajjiz with respect to the extra part. وَيَكُونُ الْمَشْكُوكُ مَوْرِدًا لِلْبَرَاءَ. And the part which becomes shubhiyya badwiyya and you have doubt as initial doubt, you can do ihtiyat. Bara'a. For example, إذا علم بقصبية أحد المالين. For example, I go to a place to say my prayer. There are 2 carpets. I know one of these 2 carpets is qasb, is usurped. Okay? What can I do? You cannot pray on any of them. Because if one of the 2 is qasb, and I don't know which one, I have to avoid both. Yeah? Because chance is very high. إذا علم بقصبية أحد المالين مع احتمال قصبيتهما معا. You have to avoid both. But if you know one of the 2 is qasb, and you know this one is qasb, and the other one also may be qasb. So for sure one of them is qasb, maybe 2 of them, but for sure one of them is qasb, and you know this one is qasb. Maybe the other one is also qasb. Do I need to do ihtiyat with respect to this one? No. Because I knew that there is one qasb, and I know that this is already qasb. So the other one becomes shubhiyya badwiyya, not shubhiyya ijmali. Is it clear? Yes.
So this doubt that maybe the other one is also, for example, philosophy, can't apply to any specific.
Exactly.
Anyway,
and this is why we call it badwiyya. So although initially it was one of the 2, But now it's not one of the two because one is known, so it becomes one of any.
One of any.
Yes.
If it is not clear,
Pardon?
if it is one of the two, we avoid both of them because we don't know it.
Mm.
But if it is one of the two and we know the one, then it's clear that we avoid that one.
Yeah.
But
And the other one becomes like any.
Yes, but when the example that you gave, that the one which you know is rasbi is supposed to be avoided, but you also said that the other one might be rasbi or might not be.
Yeah.
So isn't it better to do it there then?
It's better, but it's not necessary.
Not necessary, of course.
Yes. You can always do it, yeah, but don't make it necessary.
This might also be rasbi. Even
Yeah.
if you know,
But this doubt is
Even, yes, even if you don't know any of them is ghasb, still you can do it, yeah. Bring your own carpet.
Too much of idea.
Yeah?
Too much of idea.
Yeah?
making rules for other people.
Yes.
But if you know that this one is ghasb and you have yaqeen this is one is ghasb, then there is no more shubha. Because the bahas is shubha.
You know, initially you knew that one of them was ghasb. Then you managed to find that this one is ghasb, but you don't know the other one is not, or is his. So we say, okay, this one avoid, that one becomes an initial doubt. It's not established.
There is no taklif for the next one. One which
Yes.
we know and the next one is no taklif.
Yes.
Bara. You need to practice bara.
Yes. Is it clear?
very detailed, yes.
Yes. I remember just our teacher, Ayatollah Ahmed Imyanazi Rahmatullah alayh, he mentioned one of ulama. And, you know, this Al-Mujaz is difficult, especially in Kifayatul Usul. Kifayatul Usul, the last book for Sath, before Dars Kharij, and it's very brief and deep. So he said, one of ulama said, whenever I am tired and I cannot do anything, any study, to entertain myself, I study Ilm Ijmali of Kifaya.
Very high level.
Yes.
That's a very high level of entertainment.
Yeah.
Probably very good entertainment.
Yeah.
This is entertainment. Imagine if it doesn't
Very
Yeah.
serious.
And if you entertain your nafs in this way, then your nafs would say, you know, I want just to carry on. You don't need.
Let me entertain myself this way.
So it doesn't become lazy.
Yeah.
Sheikh,
Very hard.
is it good to do ihtiyat in this way? Someone was telling about an alim deen who would carry his food with him just to be sure that he's getting pure food.
Yeah.
Is it good? Considered good in religion?
It is good, but we don't recommend people to do this. Depends on the people, you know. Because first of all, some people don't have patience for this. Secondly, some people, when they start doing things, then they develop self-admiration. People do haram, but I even don't do, you know, shubahat. You know, then they think they are very pious. You know, this is also dangerous. Yes. The third thing is that when someone still has bigger problems, yeah, to avoid this. For example, someone has cancer and doesn't go for treatment, just washes his hand. It's very good to keep washing your hand every few minutes, but you have cancer. You have to treat your major problem. So, for those who are suffering from haram, they have bad akhlaq, you know, that type of thing, we say, first, focus on those major issues. But for mu'mineen who don't do haram, they do wajibat, of course it is good to do ihtiyat. Yes?
Can you explain each al-Mujaz in a simple way? What is it? Al-Mujaz, what is it actually?
You know, you have a knowledge that there is something here, but you don't know which one is actually that one that you know. You know there is a criminal here. Suppose you are a police, okay? A policeman, you know one of these people here, suppose there was a murder in a train, and you have stopped the train, you know the murderer has not gone out of the train. One of the people in the train, one of the passengers, is the murderer, but you don't know which one. What do? It's Al-Mujaz. You know one of the people in passengers is a murderer, but you don't know which one. For sure, you cannot release all of them. Yeah? Because the number of the passengers is limited. If you know, for example, one person in million is murderer, you cannot keep all million people to investigate. But if it is one, for example, in a bus, in a train, so you keep all of them. Then what you do, you try to reduce the parties to make this, smaller and smaller. For example, based on some information, you realize that the murderer was a man. So you release women because you say, we don't know if there was a second murder. So we release women. You know, murderer was a young person. So you release old people. Yeah? Because with respect to old people becomes Shomali badwiya. Okay? You cannot say, I don't release them because there might be another murder that we are not aware of it. Is it clear? Okay.
Well, there could be a accomplice.
Pardon?
Well, there could be an accomplice in the second one. Or there could be a third one. So this does.
Okay, then you have to stop all the trains because in every train maybe something has happened. Becomes Shomali badwiya. If you know that there is a murder, that brings responsibility. But the possibility, likelihood, would not bring responsibility. Otherwise, we cannot continue our normal life.
How will you say Shomali? How do you explain that? I'm sorry to point to this.
No.
Shomali, how do you explain that?
Badwiya, what's that?
Shomali badwiya means there is a doubt without any history. Means just you have doubt.
Without any basis.
It's not that you know that something has happened. Okay? It's opposite to Shomali ijmali. When you know something has happened, you don't know which one. Is it clear?
Yes.
So, مثلا, I repeat, إذا علم بقصبية أحد المالين, we know one of the two mal means property, something that you own. Yeah? There are two, something which has financial value. Mal means something which has financial value. One of the two, is qasbi, like one of the two carpets. Then if there is evidence that one of them in particular is certainly qasbi, and you don't know the other one is qasbi or not, so that ilm ijmali is now analyzed. First was one of the two, then you have extra evidence that says this one is certainly qasbi, the other one might be qasbi, might be not. So we say, okay, the other one is okay, we just do ihtiyat with this one. إن حل العلم الإجمالي إلى علم تفصيليا بالحرمة وهو ما قامت البينة على قصبيته. Then here there is no doubt because there is evidence. And شك بدوي وهو المال الآخر الذي يحتمل إذا قصبي. The other one also might be قصبي, but we don't have proof for that. So that is okay. وَمِثْلُهُ الْمَقَامِ. Here is just the same. Here is like the story of two carpets. Why? Because our story was this. In Sharia, we know there are some harams. Okay, certainly there are some harams. Through our investigation, we have managed to identify many harams. Okay? Now we are dealing with cases that we don't know there is hurma or not. Who told you that there are more haram than the ones that you have discovered? There are cases that you certainly know they are haram. Yeah? So maybe that they were only haram things in Islam. Who told you there is more? Okay? So al-ilm al-ijmali yanhallu illa ilmin tafsili wa shubhatan badwiyya. This is very good thing for asking in examination. When there is exam, this can be a question. Okay, I'm already giving you one of the questions. This can be one of the questions. Al-Ijmali. Okay. Okay. So, وَمِثْلُهُ الْمَقَامِ. Who can translate this? وَمِثْلُهُ الْمَقَامِ.
It's a simple example.
Means like this case of Ahadul Malayn is al-maqam, means our case, our situation. Because we have two types of knowledge, two pieces of knowledge. Al-ilmu al-ijmali bi-wujud muharramatin fi sharia. We know that there is haram in Islamic Sharia. There are things which are haram. Ma nahakum an fantahu. No one can say we don't have any information. Maybe there is no haram in Islam. Certainly certain things are haram. Second, العلم التفصيلي بمحرمات واردة في الطرق والأمارات والأصول المثبتة للتكليف. We already through the resources that we have. These resources can be الطرق والأمارات, which prove حكم واقعي, or al-usul al-musbata, which prove usul amaliyah, which prove hukm zahiri. We have understood certain muharramat. على وجه لو عزلنا موارد العلم التفصيلي عن موارد العلم الإجمالي لما كان فيها علم بالمحرمات. If we remove these cases, then we don't know whether there is more haram there or not. Maybe these were the only haram things in Islamic Sharia. بل تكون الحرمة أمرا محتملا. Yes, it just becomes purely probable, simple likelihood. We can apply براءة. وعلى ضوء ما ذكرنا فالعلم الإجمالي بالمحرمات المتيقنة ينحل إلى علم تفصيلي بمحرمات ثبتت بالطرق والأصول. طرق and أمارات are for حكم واقعي, the real one. Usul is for حكم ظاهري. Of course, remember, حكم ظاهري has two meanings. You remember? Here we mean by حكم واقعي something that, you know, for example, when there is hadith or ayah which says this is wajib or this is haram, it's حكم واقعي. But if you don't have this amara and you have doubt and you use istisab or bara or takhir or ikhtiyar, this doesn't say that this is hukmullah. This says this is your wazifa. You cannot establish hukmullah with this.
What do you mean by wazifa?
Duty. This is your practical duty. And this is why we call them usul amaliyah. You remember the difference between usul amaliyah and the rest. So it will be divided into two parts. علم تفصيليا بمحرمات ثبتت بالطرق والأصول المثبتة للتكليف وإلى شك بدوي محتمل الحرمة, or initial doubt which is likely to be haram. وفي مثل ذلك ينتفي العلم الإجمالي. And in these cases, علم إجمالي is finished. فلا يكون مؤثرا. It cannot be influential. وتكون البراءة هي الحاكمة في مورد الشبهات. Then براءة would be something that we have to follow. براءة is governing. Okay. So, alhamdulillah, الشبهة الحكمية التحريمية لفقدان الناس finished. Now we move to الشبهة الحكمية التحريمية لإجمال الناس. So you have doubt, but the doubt is not because there is no authentic hadith or there is no verse of the Quran. No, the doubt is because there is a text which can be interpreted in different ways. For example, suppose you have authentic hadith which is also clear that ghina is haram. Ghina is haram. But then you have doubt. What is ghina? It's mujmal, it's ambiguous. For example, suppose, is ghina the voice with tarji' or is with tarji' and itrab together? Tarji', we had this before, if you remember, is when the singer or the one who is reciting makes the voice like, going around in his throat. I don't know what is the technical name in English. In Farsi we say chah chah sadat. Okay? So they don't release the voice. They circulate the words in the throat. So instead of say, for example, ha, then it takes 1-2 minutes. Say ha. Okay? So this is tarji'. Tarji'. Mutrab comes from tarab. Of course, again, this discussion, what is tarab? But for example, something that makes you feel light, in the sense that you may lose your no, means you wouldn't be that person who was very not attentive, not very
Cautious.
dignified, very prestigious. You want to, for example, do things that if you are in normal situation, you don't do it. Okay? This is tarab. So the question is whether ghana is the voice which is just coming with tarji' or it has to be with tarab. So now you have a doubt about prohibition, hurma, for tarji' which is not mutrab. If it is mutrab, it's tarji' and mutrab, it's haram. But if it is just tarji' and not mutrab, is it haram or not? Akhbariyun and usuliyun, what do they say? So, المسألة الثانية الشبهة الحكمية التحريمية لإجمال الناس إذا تردد الغناء المحرم غناء which is haram, if it is one of the two, تردد means either this or that. Either it is mutlaq tarji, any voice with tarji is ghana and haram, or tarji al mutrab, it also to be bringing tarab. Yeah, like, make you want to dance and, for example, do things which you may not do it when you are, for example, not very emotional or excited. فيكون ترجيع المطرب قطعي الحرام والترجيع بلا طرب مشكوك الحكم. So now you see, if it is both مرجع with ترجيع المطرب, okay, it's haram. But if it is just tarjih, it becomes unclear. It's shubha. Normally we say it's again halal. This part is haram, but the other one you don't know. ومثله النحي المجرد عن القرينة. Another case. Suppose there is صيغة نهي. صيغة نهي. Okay? But you don't know this is nahi for hurma or it is for karaha. Okay? And suppose that we don't believe that there is zuhur. If you say it's zahirun for hurma, then of course you have to avoid it. But suppose there is no zuhur, it can mean either this or this. There are two meanings. Suppose. Okay? None of them is ma'na zahiri. So if you don't know it is makruh or haram, so no taklif is proved. So what should we do? وَالْحُكْمُ فِي هَذِهِ الْمَسْأَلَةِ حُكْمُ مَا ذُكِرَ فِي الْمَسْأَلَةِ الْأُولَى. He says it's the same thing as the previous case. فِقْدَانُ النَّاسِ. Whatever we said before repeats here. Okay? We said we do bara'ah. Akhbariyun also repeat the same thing, and our answer is the same thing. So it's not different. Is it clear? So whether there is no text or there is text and it is not clear, we believe that there is no need for ihtiyat. Okay? The third option is الشبهة الحكمية التحريمية لتعارض النصين. There are two texts which conflict. You remember ta'arud. What is ta'arud? Who knows the difference between ta'arud and tazahum? Tazahum. What is the difference between ta'arud and tazahum? I give 1 mark, whoever gives the answer. Remind me in the final exam, I give 1 mark.
Ta'arud is clear. Ta'arud is when you have one against the other. One completely contradicting the other. Tazahum, I'm not sure.
Ta'aruz. Ta'aruz. Pardon?
الفاضل والأفضل التزاحم. تزاحم الأولويات. Who is first?
More example. Clearer. I need clearer. Ta'aruz is between two dalil, which each of them on its own was authentic. So 2 hadiths that if we had only one of them, we would have acted upon it. Okay? So after being tested and examined and sanad, everything, dalala is okay, but now they conflict. It's ta'aruz. Okay? There is takazub. Each of them rejects the other one, but each of them on its own is authentic. A hadith which is weak cannot conflict a hadith which is authentic. But both of them are strong and conflict. But tazahum is not between 2 dalil. Tazahum is between 2 hukm. For example, hurmatul qasb wa wujubu inghadh al-ghariq. Hurmatul qasb, someone is drowning in your next door. You don't have permission to go in that, so it's haram to go into, but also you have to save this innocent person who is drowning. This is tazahum. So tazahum is the conflict between two taklif. But ta'arud is conflict between two dalil. This is very important. And you should, inshallah, remember these things for the first or second night of the Pardon?
Two indications.
Yes.
Two indications.
Yeah, two, like text, for example. Okay, so the third type of shubha tahrimiyya is when you have ta'arud al-nassain. No fiqdanun nas, no ijmalun nas, bal ta'aruzun nassain. There are two texts. Each of them on its own is good, verified, authentic. But now they conflict. For example, إذا دل دليل على الحرمة ودليل آخر على الإباحة. One hadith, which is strong, says it is haram. Another one says, okay, it's permissible. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَأَحَدِهِمَا مُرَجِّهِ. Because if there is murajjih, there is no ta'aruz. You remember? We said first, if there is conflict, you try to solve the conflict by finding a preference. Murajjih. But if there is no murajjih, they become equal, then there is problem. So, لم يكن لأحدهما مرجح فلا يجب الاحتياط. We believe that there is no need to do ihtiyat. If one hadith says it is haram, another hadith says it is halal, you don't need to do ihtiyat. فلا يجب الاحتياط بالأخذ بجانب الحرمة لعدم الدليل عليه. Because we don't have any, because these two conflict and they are dropped. نعم ورد الاحتياط في رواية. Yes, there is a hadith which says you should do ihtiyat in such cases. Okay? For example, what is the hadith says, خُذْ بما في الحائط لدينك. Take the one which puts protection for your faith. Ha'ita means like a wall, means protection for your faith. But this hadith is weak. This hadith is weak. So ihtiyat is not necessary. Finally, shubhiyya tahrimiyya, but not hukmiyya, mawdu'iyya. Okay? So ash-shubhatu tahrimiyya can be hukmiyya, can be mawdu'iyya. Hukmiyya is either لفقدان الناس or لإجمال الناس or لتعارض النصين. Ash-shubhatu al-mawdu'iyya, like muqallid, not mujtahid. Muqallid doesn't know whether this is najis or not, whether this is, for example, haram meat or not, is mawzu. Is it balad or not? Maybe it's a red ink. Okay? Here, there is no problem. Even akhbariyun have said here, there is no need to do ihtiyat, because كل شيء لك حلال حتى تعرف أنه حرام بعينه فتدعه. Yes.
When there is doubt and you have a weak hadith, is it not supposed to be used? The weak hadith is supposed to be used.
Why it should be used?
Because it will remove the doubt.
No. This weak hadith is about such cases when there is ta'aruz.
Yeah.
So weak hadith doesn't help. إذا دار الأمر بين كون شيء حراما أو مباحا. So شبهة تحريمية, but لأجل الاشتباه في بعض الأمور الخارجية. It's about case. For example, كما إذا شك في حرمة الشرب ماء. There is a liquid. We don't know whether it is haram to drink it or not. But not because we don't know hukm. We don't know what is this liquid. This is an empirical doubt. Okay, it's a fact that has to be proved empirically, not in need of a fatwa or things like this. فَالظَّاهِرُ عَدَمُ الْخِلَافِ فِي أَنَّ مُقْتَضَى الْأَصْلِ الْإِبَاحَةِ. It seems that there is no doubt that we should assume what is the principle, the governing principle here is that it is mubah, it's permissible. للأخبار الكثيرة في ذلك. There are many hadiths about this. For example, كل شيء لك حلال. Everything is halal unless you know that it is haram. Of course, ulama say that in mawzu, you don't need to investigate, but also you cannot close your eyes. You know? So you cannot, for example, at least it seems that if you buy something and ingredients are written on it, it seems that this much of investigation is needed. You cannot, just take and say maybe it is halal. But if nothing is there and you need to, for example, phone them and ask them, maybe it's not needed. In mawzu'at, you don't need to investigate too much. There is, for example, a red spot. And you look at it, you don't know it's blood or not. You don't need to send it to laboratory and say, please do test. Is it blood or not? Okay? Even sometimes, some doubts, you don't need to investigate that much, Yes. Okay. So, يمكن الاستدلال على البراءة بالدليل العقلي وهو أن الاحتجاج لا يتم بالعلم بالكبرى. We say, for براءة, we can use an intellectual argument here. You know that, for example, blood is najis, khamr is haram, okay? But this is kubra. You have to establish also sughra, that this is khamr, this is blood. Just to know that khamr is najis or blood is najis is not enough to bring mas'uliyah, responsibility. Al-ihtijaj, on the day of judgment, Allah would not argue with me just based on my knowledge of kubra. نعم لا يتم الاحتجاج لا يتم بالعلم بالكبرى وحده. Only with the knowledge of the general rule. أن الخمر حرام ما لم ينضم إليه العلم بالسقرى. If there is only علم بالكبرى and not علم بالسقرى. So you know khamr is najis, but you don't know this is khamr. Is it enough that Allah on the day of judgment questions you and punishes you when you know kubra but you don't know sughra? No. فلا يحتج بالكبرى المجردة على العبد. Means لا يحتج على العبد. This على العبد is for لا يحتج. لا يحتج على العبد. There would be no arguing for master against abd, servant, just based on kubra. Inshallah, next session we will talk about ash-shubhatul wujubiyya. It's easier. When there is a chance that something might be wajib or might not be wajib. Should I do it? This was tahrimiyya. The next one is shubhiyya wujubiyya. Inshallah, we will discuss next week, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen.